Peace, family. What's going on? What's good with y'all? Hope everything is well. We're back, and we told you we were going to cover this subject about calming your nervous system. It's not actually just calming your nervous system, but that has become the lingo of the day. And I'm going to give you one exercise that gives you complete autonomy over your nervous system. Not only your nervous system, but all of the other 12 systems. Because they all have one thing in common. They contract and they dilate. I'm talking about all the way down on the level of the actin and myosin, whether it's skeletal muscle, smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, any other part of the body. They all do this at different rates. And so when a woman is talking about calming her nervous system, this is what I'm telling her to do. Down-regulate your masculine perception. Peace brings you real intuition. And what I mean by down-regulating your masculine perception is that men are engineered to be highly investigative, to take on certain mental tasks. And if you believe that women are better suited, I'm about to show you nature does not agree. And because society has put it on your mind to be super nosy and to take on certain aspects of thinking and behavior that are better suited for men, now you feel like your nervous system is not calm. Now the outer world has more power than the inner world. And so I'm going to deal with science. I don't deal with belief. I deal with verifiable science. So let's talk about calming your nerves. All right, so let's talk about this. First of all, we're about to talk about the plantar thermoreceptors and vascular response. And thermoreceptors are heat receptors, heat and cold. And so before I start, I need to say this, and you're going to have to go and do your research to understand what I'm saying. When we talk about heat and cold, we're talking about the effects of two forms of light. One, you can go into the infrared band, which is the red band. We know red in our system, indigenous system, represents masculine. And then we can go into the ultraviolet heat, blue band. And what that does to the body, cold causes vasoconstriction. Heat causes vasodilation. You get in the sauna, you get vasodilated. You get in the cold, you get constriction. And so what you need to know is that the body is doing this millions and millions and trillions of times a second in order to create circulation and all functions. That's the only thing that's going on in the body is contractions. And so when we talk about these thermoreceptors, we're going to do an exercise that gives you more control over your thermoreceptors so that you can deal with cold and hot. But what we're dealing with actually is masculine and feminine. What we're actually dealing with is different forms of light. And what we also are dealing with, since light is a form of perception, how you're perceiving things. And I promise you they all go together, though in science they divide these things up. And so let's talk about how to gain control over tension in your body. It's not just your nervous system. It's the tension in your body based on the perceptive framework that you are intaking to feed information to your body. It's your mind. And so you have to practice mind over matter. Okay, real quick. Lots of people do cold treatments. You'll see people get into the nitrogen tanks and do all of that. I am telling you that your feet has more thermoreceptors than any part of your body. And because of our history of walking barefoot for most of our existence, we have sensed heat and cold up into our body through our feet. Our feet are touching the ground. Now, our body is exposed to the elements, but the feet are very important in this. And I just want to say that because maybe you're spending thousands of dollars to go sit in that tank for whatever, and literally you can use cold water at home to outdo that therapy. We have to put this in The sensory attenuation of the foot has changed because we wear shoes. I talked about what types of shoes you want to start wearing: barefoot shoes, training barefoot, working out barefoot, walking around the house barefoot, and why. You are stimulating the fascia, you are training the thermoreceptors, and with this little exercise you're going to do, you're going to understand. So I have other videos on this, but wearing shoes destroys your posture, destroys your attenuation, destroys a lot. But we have to wear shoes. But now we have companies that sell better types of shoes, and we have different exercises that we can do, like people like me teach, so that you can get your sensory attenuation back in your foot. Because once you lose this sensory attenuation in your foot, it impacts the whole body. It impacts this contraction network that goes through every system that I'm talking about. And so you see it up here, the vasoconstriction and vasodilation on the left side of the chart. Now, these charts are for my courses, and so they're very technical because there are different things in it. But we got to get the barefoot physiology down, and the vasoconstriction and vasodilation are a part of your thermoreceptors reading temperature. Also, we have a term called mechanotransduction. And what that constriction and dilation is mechanotransduction at the optimal level. Mechanotransduction also deals with exercise and moving your body, which most of us don't do, and it is the number one cause of health disparities, or we're doing movement that is not in alignment with the design of the machine, like lifting weights. Lifting weights is not necessarily in alignment with the design of the machine. If it can be done with other things, it works. Mechanotransduction. So this is an example of walking in cold on a dry ground and a wet ground, and the difference in how the body receives the communication. And so the body received the communication of walking on a dewy surface way different than a dry surface. And it is the water that is a part of the communication system. And so we're about to work on the autonomic nervous system, which has parasympathetic, which is the calming part, and sympathetic, which is the action and orientated and doing things, sometimes doing too much. So understand that system, and we're about to talk about it. So this is the exercise, and it must be done in the morning. Cannot be done at night. It will throw your whole autonomic nervous system off. In the morning, dip your feet in cold water for 120 seconds. That's it. Take them out. Do not dry your feet off. Let them cool off, warm up again by themselves. And what you have just done is you have initiated an entire process in your autonomic nervous system. And that process is hyperemia, where your body is now going to sense cold, go into vasoconstriction. You even feel it sometimes in your nose. Your nose could close up. You can do the flow breathing and the humming to bring the nitric oxide back to the nose. But by allowing your feet to warm up by themselves, now you're taking it from vasoconstriction all the way to vasodilation, and you're doing that throughout the body. The entire body is reading it, specifically because of the plantar fascia, which is connected to every part of the body. And so doing this technique is an ancient Sufi technique, actually. And so most people don't know about it, but you can use this. And here is the data right there for how you're going to use it. This is a diagram of the hyperemia and the vasoconstriction and the vasodilation. Take that and read it. Here is a layout of how the progression is going to progress all the way down to the brainstem, improving your breath, because you can tell somebody to breathe. That doesn't work. You have to actually relax them, and there's a part of the brainstem that controls the automatic function of breathing, along with your mechanical function. And so this process stimulates all of those things all the way down to learning to relax, to breathe. And so you're going to have to go watch this video and look at the slides, because what I just gave you is a hack into your entire tension network in the body. And you can calm yourself down by doing this once a day. Peace.